Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. You know, riding for democracy works the same all over the world, and you'll understand what I'm saying after a little bit here. Okay, you get riding in Hong Kong for democracy, and Nancy Pelosi says, "Oh, what a beautiful sight to behold." Yeah, and you know, that's sort of ironic, and we'll get to that in a minute too. The riding for democracy is what they're doing. They throw a brick and kill a street sweeper for democracy. They light a guy on fire, throw flammable fluid on a guy and light him on fire for democracy. They attack people that don't see it their way politically or whatever, and they do that on behalf of democracy. They vandalize bus stations, train stations, they vandalize streets, they just vandalize on to promote democracy. They shut down roads and subways and trains so people can't get to work for democracy. They shut down the airports in Hong Kong for democracy. And then when Hong Kong brings in a law that says you can't do that, the rest of the world goes wild and says, "You can't do that, you're taking away," you got it, their democracy. Like, holy moly, like seriously. Okay, so now we flash forward a whole year, and in the United States, people are rioting for their form of democracy. Exactly. They don't like the way the election went. So they figure that they should get their way, and to hell with the other people, their form of democracy. So what do? They storm Congress in Washington, D.C. And in the process, 5 people die for democracy. Not only was it the people that stormed Congress, vandalizing, breaking windows, stealing Nancy Pelosi's podium. There's a guy sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office for democracy. But you see, I doubt if Nancy Pelosi was sitting there saying, "Oh, what a beautiful sight to behold," when it was happening in the United States on behalf of democracy against her government, her workplace. When Trump started this about a year ago, he probably watched the Hong Kong stuff and said, "Oh, I can do that. Watch me." And he started planting those seeds of sedition. You got it. If he didn't win the election was rigged. It was fake. It's a conspiracy against him, against the free world, against everything that he stands for, and that's just the way it is. So all of these people that stormed Congress in their riot gear, and some of them had twist ties, some of them had firearms, some of them were dressed like commandos, so you can't say that they didn't storm it. It's one of those things. So when they stormed Congress and 5 people died, it was due to what Trump said. If Trump had not said what he did, if he didn't incite this riot, it wouldn't have happened. Everybody knows that, and now he's getting impeached for the second time. Okay, not only is he getting impeached for the second time, but he's been banned from Twitter and he's been banned from Facebook. Do I agree with that? Wow, that's fodder for another video. That's for damn sure. But you see, the idea that the top dog in the United States was the one that instigated the riots in the United States is totally off the scale of you can't write this shit. You can't make this shit up. This is real live soap opera stuff. So when it happens in Hong Kong, it's a beautiful sight to see. When it happens in the United States, it's not a beautiful sight to see. When it happens in Hong Kong, they go and they arrest the people that were instigating the riots. They arrest the people that did violence and whatever. Okay, And yes, the rest of the world goes wild. But now, as they're arresting the guy that stole Nancy Pelosi's podium, the other guy that was sitting in her chair, other people that took part in the riots and storming Congress. I'm using the word storming Congress because it's exactly what they did. When they're arresting all these people, well, that's a good thing. Well, we're gonna go get those guys. You know what I mean? So when it comes to what China does and what the United States does, they do the same thing for their form of government. Whether it's a communist government, whether it's a capitalist government, whether it's a democracy, it really doesn't matter. Whatever keeps your people safe in your country is what's best for your country. Not letting a minority dictate to the majority what rules are going to be followed and what rules are not going to be followed. If you're from the United States and you're a Republican and you watch this stuff going on and you agree with it, there's something the matter with you. So as the United States exports all of this democracy around the world and they don't have enough for themselves, now what are they going to do? They've spent so much on the military and military bases all around the world. They spent so much money on pharmaceutical companies. I was just talking to Ali, another expat here in Nanning. Actually just met him yesterday. And you know, the pharma companies and the amount of dollars that you pay for pharmaceuticals in the United States, somebody's taken over your understanding of what's real and what's fake. Fake news. You know, Trump said. But no, that's I digress. But you know, they're spending money. Everybody's spending money on the wrong stuff. They're not spending it properly on healthcare. They're not spending it properly on infrastructure. They're not spending it on the poor, education, all of the things that make a society a better society, whether it's democratic, whether it's communist, whether it's socialist, whether it's, well, I don't believe in a socialist government. Talk to the Venezuelans and about that. It's just not right. But when you see a country like the United States had so much potential and now is on the downswing, why? Because they got taken over by the big corporations, the ones that are there to make the money. They don't give a rat's ass about you as a little person. You're just one vote, but your vote doesn't mean as much as the vote to the CEO of a big arms dealing making company in the United States. If you can make an F-15 fighter, if you can make a bomb that can blow something up, if you can make a better rifle, if you can make a, you know, all your vote's worth more because you can afford to have lobbyists, and lobbyists go in and tell the government what to do and then give them money, and without that money they don't get elected, and you know, and it goes on and on and on. So really, is it democracy or is it just a big screwed up corporation that you're voting for? And if you don't like it, then hit the streets and riot. If you do like it, smile and watch those people on the streets rioting and point your finger and saying, bad riders. Like, I ask you, what's the difference? What is the difference between what happened in Hong Kong and what happened in Washington? I don't think there is a difference. I think the only difference that there is the way that the people perceive it from country to country. When the Chinese look at something like that's happening in the United States, they shake their head, and as the United States used to be looked at as the shining light of democracy, no longer is, especially in the eyes of the Chinese people. They just shake their head and think, holy smokes, we used to look up to these people. Now they don't. They definitely don't. When you see the riots going on in places like Hong Kong, and the Americans look at what's going on in Hong Kong, they go, yeah, right, get those commies. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't tell them what to do. You can't, you know, it's just one of those things that I sit back here in China and I watch what goes on in all of these different places. As a Canadian, I don't think we ever have riots in Canada. I think when they close the bar down 5 minutes early and you miss last call, there could be a little bit of a scuffle, but not a riot. Seriously, that's about it in Canada. I don't think there's ever been a riot, but I could be wrong. If there's been a riot in Canada, somebody out there will know about it. Put it in the description below, or in the comments below, and I'll eat goat. Exactly. But so anyway, that's basically what I'm here to say today. Is like, I'm looking at both of these things. I'm looking at the Americans, I'm looking at the Chinese, I'm looking at the Hong Kong, I'm looking at the Washington DC. I can't see a difference. I really can't. I see a government trying to protect their citizens, trying to get on with business in both countries, and you've got this minority of hooligans making it hard for everybody in their community because they want it their way. They're acting like children. In the United States, it's exactly the same thing. So if you guys see a difference, you know, comment. If you comment, I may not get back to you, but I do read just about every comment that comes in. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, and I miss some stuff, but usually I read it all. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to resubscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. And whatever you do, don't forget to put a couple bucks in the children's Patreon account. It's for a good cause. Thanks for watching. Bye now.